got jeans on. I'm like, he didn't tell me I had dress pants on. He told me we were, so I did this work for him. He took me up the back stairs. I felt like, this is bad shit that I'm dealing with. So whatever, so whatever. Clicker on, bro.
Randy, you want to go? Who's got
You got a staff of 9, so much good. So education. Everybody in this room, I assume, everybody in this room is in a different place financially, background, everything else. This is all I do. If you come to my house at 6 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, I guarantee I'm walking in my basement because my wife won't let me turn the lights on until she gets up. And I just walk in paces because I'm a pacer, and I just listen to something. And now my new thing is private money. That's my new ingest. But YouTube, social media. I'm a big pockets guy. I'm actually going to the Inman News Conference in a couple months. If you're in the real estate space, not in investing, but on the brokerage level, where you want to be a successful realtor, Inman News has the best of the best groups. This group right here. There's someone in this room that can make a difference in your life. When I was 19 years old, I'm sitting next to this guy, and I'm looking for the Rolex. I'm looking for the guy with the suit, and I'm snooping around. And it's packed room, and the guy sits, but you gotta sit at this table. The guy at the table, and he had just food on his chest, looked like ass. They sat me next to this, and they kind of know I'm so poor. So I sit next to him, and we're talking. He goes, "What do you want to do, kid?" And I'm like, "I want to buy houses, but I don't have any money." And he says, "Well, I got a lot of money." I'm like, "Oh, sure you will." You don't even got a sweater that looks right. The first building I bought was on 7th Street at 2114 Seneca. He loaned me the private money for it, and he loaned me 20 more times after that. If I would have just sat next to the phony baloney, I probably wouldn't be here today. This dude changed my trajectory of my life just by getting around him. And the stories, I mean, we could talk a whole week on the stories of me and this guy, Larry. I found the house, he had the money. And we did a lot of good stuff. So my point to that is, just because Steve doesn't look very fancy, he might be the guy that changes your life, right? Everybody is a coach or a mentor. I will tell you that I spend way too much money on coaching. And it is very embarrassing when my coach comes in on the Zoom meeting and he looks like one of my kids. But he knows more than I do. So I am willing to pay him. And my wife goes, "Why are you paying so much money?" Because they just subtract it. Now at this point, there's not a whole lot my coach teaches me, but what he does do for me is he holds me accountable. So if I say I want to buy 6 or 8 houses a month and I only bought 3 houses and our coaching meeting is the 15th of the month, he just says to me, "What's your KPIs?" And that's key performance indicators. And he just says, "Dude, you're not doing what you say you're going to do. You're not following up. You're not doing this. You're not doing that." And he just puts me in check. My wife goes, "You're the only person I know that pays someone $500 an hour to slap you around." But I will tell you, when I know I got that call coming, I'm like, I'm trying to get my spreadsheet. Because he can just go in, look at my shit, share the screen, he knows what piece of shit I am, right? You can't outline a spreadsheet, he knows. So he holds me accountable. So my point is with that is, there's great coaches. Chris has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in coaching, so have I. There's great coaches and there's the shit coaches, right? There's people with track records. The ones that I have right now, these 2 young guys, they're off the rails. I'm gonna just continue to pay them every month an enormous amount of money because they just keep me in check. The next thing is bullshit, more bullshit. Everybody's a liar in this business, right? So when I got my license, there was no Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. You could take anybody in this room within 5 minutes, and we look like superstars, right? Now I go to this big event, it costs a lot of money to go, and I'm in there, and I see all the faces I see on Facebook, and I'm like super excited. I want to hug them and kiss them, and I find out 90% of our assholes, and then someone's lying. So I've learned, I just came back from Tennessee. I went to this great mastermind. Everybody's trying to, and I just weed them out and just say, this one's good. This one's a bullshitter. This one's good. That's a bullshitter. And I find 1 or 2 people every time I go
And not that we're friends, but we collaborate and we bounce ideas off each other. So just be careful who you're doing. Like I said, Chris travels the circuit, right? I wish I could do it. I'm like a carny, and he's like the fancy people, right? I'm the carny guy. I'm the guy you see at the Erie County Fair. Give me your ticket. But with that being said, you'll find someone for everybody, right? Everybody, and stop the shiny object. I am still guilty to this day. I have 2 or 3 Zooms tomorrow. If something's not working, I won't look internally and realize I suck that week or that month. I buy a new software. I bought more CRMs than you can care to admit because I think it's a CRM. No, it's me. I'm just not doing anything. You can have an Excel spreadsheet. You can use anything you want. You don't need all the fancy shit that I buy. I'm putting clocks on them, an adapter. By the time I figure out what the hell all this shit is, the day's ruined. So just don't buy everything. Buy one thing, master it, and then move on to your next thing. Buy one thing, master it, move on to your next thing. So that's a start. So I would tell you I do all these. And joint venture. There could be someone in here. What is your name?
Darius.
Darius, that's a cool Ron. You got. So just say Ron has the money. And Darius is a hustler, right? I'm good. I can't even pronounce that shit, dude. All right, we're gonna call Darius. Where? Darius Rucker, right? Is that? I remember. All right, Darius. All right, we got to get it on their name. What is your name? Chuck. Oh fuck, I'm in Chuck. All right, we got Chuck and Ron here. Chuck. So Chuck has a boatload of cash. Ron has no cash, but he's got a massive amount of energy. He's got massive amount. He brings his own beer. Chuck just says, I'll give you the capital. You bring the deal and we'll share it 50-50. That's joint venture. I do that all day if the deal is right. But I'll show you why you don't want to do that, why you want to borrow private money. But joint venture. Owner holds, I probably have 10 going right now. Perfect time for owner holds, especially if anybody lives in the country. There's less investors, right? If you buy in Cheektowaga, you buy in Amherst, you buy in all that, everybody in this room wants to buy there. But if you want to go to Sardinia, there's a cow farmer, an Amish guy doing roofs, and one investor. There's so much opportunity. So I go to them people. I just bought one. I don't even know these towns. They're crazy. I did one Saturday. It was windmills. And then you go down the road and it says, this town is the only town in West New York that has more cows than people. I'm like, I'm in the wrong spot. But anyways, I bought the house owner hold. Because why would someone owner hold their house? Why would someone give you that opportunity? Anybody? They can sell it easily. Capital gains. So someone wants to own or hold because then they pay the capital gains. My ultimate goal, all my property down the road, we can have a whole topic of capital gains. But the bottom line is if someone has an investment property in Sardinia, for the sake of argument, they owe 100 grand and they appreciated it all down to zero, depreciate it. Now when they sell it, they pay capital gains on 100 grand. But if they sell it to me for 110, then they're only paying capital gains on the interest that they get that year. So my goal, before I go sleepy time, I have all these properties. I'm going to own or hold them instead of paying it, or I'll just do a tax deferred. I'll do something. But own or hold is great, and I have a ton of them. So it's just mailbox money every single month. These people, and then I take the property that I own or hold, and I own or hold it to someone else, and I make the spread, right? So they're everywhere, everywhere. And if you go into multiple listing and you went back 4 years and you said all of my houses didn't sell, hypothetically, just check them in the tax record. If they didn't sell, call them. Are you still interested in selling your house at 123 Smith Street? I'm a buyer. I'm looking for this. And you give them an option. So I do a ton of them. Assignment, wholesale, and hotel. We won't touch, but I assign properties. I do not like to assign properties because of my visibility, and I don't want to be on channel 4, but I will assign a couple. But my game right now is hoteling. And hoteling is different than flipping because hoteling, I can get in, clean them out. I got probably 4 or 5 going right now. Go in there, clean them out, spruce them up a little bit, and just put them right back on the market, or I auction them off. Because I have a construction crew of 10 people on my team, the problem is when you're getting in these rehabs, like this mess that I have in Hamburg, it just exhausts all your rehab, all your people. So now I got 10 guys in one house trying to kick this out, but all these other houses. So you got to constantly move money. So I'm assigning a few, and the difference between assigning and wholesale is a whole nother animal, but wholesaling is going to be, if you see all my videos, you'll see very few of them now moving forward that I'm going to rehab completely. I am going to wholesale them. I'm going to make a smaller spread, but I'll be able to keep the velocity of money moving very fast. The next one is my new baby. This has been my baby for about 4 or 5 years. And these young kids taught me this, and I was doing it half-assed. I actually just got paid back, I swear to God, on my kids, $125,000 from a lady in Angola. When I was loaning, I would just do it on a handshake, and we'd do it, and I'd go in first, but I never had a deed. If she didn't want to pay me back, she was just an honest lady. She gave me back 120. If she wanted to jerk me, I mean, I could have probably got it with notes and emails and stuff like that, but I was just doing it so carelessly. So I went down there, I got their loan packet, I added it to my business, I hired an attorney. Now when he acts as my buyer's attorney, and it just, the last 4 or 5 loans have just been priceless. So seamless, but they've also been seamless for the person borrowing the money, because when you're buying properties, why would someone sell you a property at a discount? Speed and convenience. Private money and all the connections that Chris has and all this, I'm just a small person. That's the thing. If you go to a house tomorrow and it's in foreclosure and you know they're losing it in 6 weeks, I can solve your problem, Betty. I'm going to give you the money. I'm going to close on this thing in 3 weeks. Even though I would love to list one of my realtors to list it, it's not a viable option. And that's why every single day, if you get the law journal, how many houses are in foreclosure? Every day it's crazy, because those people didn't, they owe too much money. So this guy must think I'm a speed reader. So I would tell you this. I've been a part of the local RIA group, the other one that Tom Larson and myself are involved with. I call these people still people. Everybody in here. Now, I know there's people in here because I've seen their face 100 times. They bought properties. They own properties. They're very successful. But I've also tell you, I've been in the same meeting where I belong for 30 years, and the same people have never bought a property. They come. The food sucks, so they're not coming for the food. I'm not any good. They just come and they sit in the back room and they just sit there and they just keep looking and they heckle us. They heckle Chris. They heckle me, whatever. They're still people, and they're still in the same place 30 years later. And then I have another young kid there. His name's Drew. We've loaned him money multiple times. He's 39 years old. He owns 100 properties right now, all leveraging private money. That's the success story. And then I got another guy in the back. He's 60-something years old, and all he does is sit there every time and complain. I'll tell him about private money. Oh, that's crazy. That's why you're still renting an apartment at 60 years old, and I just put gas in your car when you're leaving out in the parking lot. You're a bum. But that's just the reality of it, So private money will create opportunity that nobody in this room will have if you leverage it correctly. And I've done it myself 100 times. Go ahead. Oh. I'm only going to speak for myself. I'm not speaking for Chris. Chris does his own private money, and I'm sure there's people in here that do private money. There is a fine line with private money that you cannot cross, because if you cross it, I get calls all the time from people that want to borrow it, that live in their own house. It's against the law. I don't mess with that. If you're an investor, owner flip, refinance, whatever, this is what this is about. But basically, we are not institutional lenders. I own a regular mortgage company called Mainstream Funding. We're strictly private money lenders. We used to just do it on a handshake. We're sucked. Now you must fill out the loan application. Someone on my staff will reach you. Require all requirements before we proceed with the application. If we get 10 applications every week, one person will be eligible for private money. People have a misconception that private money don't matter the asset. You have to still have a good asset. It is collateral based. I don't care too much about your tax return. I don't care, but the asset has to be strong. So we loan out a couple $1 million before a capital raise. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the capital raise, because that's going to be my next baby. I have lots of babies, and I do actually. Opportunities for fractionalized money. These guys taught me that. They have $54 million on the street using fractionalized money. $54 million. I was so in love with this dude. I took a picture of him, I put him on my fridge. My wife's like, take that down. You're sick. But I got off on him because, man, he was just crazy. The fees and costs will vary based on the risk. Me personally, like he's got a club they loan everywhere in the country. I only do Erie County and Niagara, but I will tell you, I just did one in Orleans because in Medina, the deal was so strong, I just couldn't do it. If you get a good title, I will fund that thing immediately. I will self-fund that thing immediately. That is the thing. Here's the deal. Just because it's private money, you have to have some skin in the game. Us, and I'm sure there's other people, we require that you have 10% in the deal. Your after repair value is what I talked to. Like, just let me give you an example on that. Just say today you're in the MLS and you find a house. I want to buy that double for $100,000. I said, what's it worth? $100,000. Nobody's going to give you private money. There's no deal spread there. So if in fact you go next week, you go, listen, I'm not paying you anymore. I don't want your house that you have no equity. So you have to have some skin in the game. So we require 10%. I will give you 100% of the rehab as long as it's a legitimate rehab. Right now, there's people that know how to rehab houses. Like I'll get one, he'll come over and say, I need a roof, kitchen, bathroom, windows, doors, flooring, rehab budget, $17,000. I'm like, put the weed pen down and let's reevaluate this. And that's the truth. So we won't do that. Loan application. I put this in red for this reason. I never take an income tax unless I think something's not right. If someone's blowing smoke, we just had an investigation in my office. A guy sold a house, we listed it, we sold it, and the guy never owned the house. So there's some things that can go sideways. So if you come in and I sense dirty, I would ask for that. Scope of work, we used to never do that. Now we do a scope of work and I come out to your house, or not me, someone on my staff, just to inspect it. We charge you a nominal inspection fee. On my application, it says that you have to have $20,000 liquidity because every budget, I want it to be worth 80,000 rehab and I go to 100 or vice versa. So you got to have some staying power. With that being said, I want to see it says on there you got to have 20,000. You got to have 20,000 from somewhere. So give me a bank statement or show me. I want a copy of the contract. You can upload it right in our system. Mortgage and note will be filed. And if you are an LLC, which I require, you have to give me the articles that you are true an LLC. I only use one attorney right now for this side of the business, is Matt Lawfer. We've completely built out a closing package so that when an attorney, a lot of investors jerk around and they wait to the last minute, then they need money. We have it built out. So if you call a week before closing, we can get it done as long as you have a title insurance policy. Go ahead. Oh, dude, you're younger than me, kid. Yeah, when you're young, listen, when you're young, everything feels good. Listen, my buddy says money doesn't solve all problems, but it doesn't make you younger. I'll tell you a money story. So my buddy, he's ugly as sin. I mean, really ugly. I'm talking ugly. He looks like an iguana. And he's probably my age, and he's dating a girl right now. She's 30 years old. And I mean, she's 30. I mean, and she goes, she loves me. I'm like, dude, she's sitting at the Jackrabbit on Main Street or on Elmwood, and you pull up with your Lamborghini. That's what you pulled up with. Of course she loves you, right? She's like, I'm getting out of this one-bedroom studio over on bus day. I'm going to go sleepy time over here. They invited me to the birthday party. I'm like, dude, me and my wife, we've been together since high school. She would kill me if I went to a birthday party with this guy, Grandpa, and he believes in his heart, she loves me. She pull up in a Honda Accord and see if Sunshine's coming home with you. Lamborghinis will allow a lot of shit to come home with you. Yeah. No, that's 100%. That's 100%. Yeah, Lamborghini. Yeah. You'll see some crazy shit. But anyways, so we'll touch on this. So almost every term of private money is 6 months. And the reason is because you do not want to borrow private money for any real length of time because the cost of it, right? The cost of it. But I will tell you almost every one of our loans go over 6 months. Why is it? Because 8 people buy these rehabs and they don't understand what takes. And then they get done, they think that it's done. Then they got to list it or they got to sell it on their own. And that's 2 more months. So our average loan right now is about 220 days. So I have 11 offices, but the office that I work out of is on Center Road. Don't take any pictures of that, please. I'm joking. I'm just being funny. No, take 2 of them. They're free. But no, it's all right. Hey, listen, there's nothing wrong with having a fat guy in the picture. But anyways, my office is in 960. A lot of the investors that we deal with do not know how to do like electronic stuff. So let's bring the check in. And I love it when they bring it in because it excites me. It excites me to get them checks. But anyways, it doesn't matter. There is private money lenders in the area. Don't ever be afraid of private money, the cost of it, because it's irrelevant. It's a cost of in the game. Because if you don't borrow private money, you might miss an asset. There's people in our area right now charging 16%, et cetera. The going rate in West New York is 12 to 14% and 2 to 3 points. That is the going rate. Now there's people, I know a guy that does 10, but his requirements are so crazy, it's tough. I know someone, if I said his name, probably everybody would know in here. He's 16 and 4%. He doesn't care. He doesn't need to loan it out, but he has over 200 loans out in the marketplace right now. Extensions. If you want money more than the 6 months, we charge an extension fee because we want to keep moving that money because we don't make, the interest is one thing, and I'll show you how that adds up. Private money lenders make money as on the points. So they want to keep moving them points. We have a loan doc fee that is for the attorney. Just like if you bought a house today, M&T is the bank attorney, we charge that. He draws up the paperwork. It's about 90 pages. Mortgage, note, make sure your homeowner's insurance, CMA, or an appraisal, depending on where it is. If I can get an appraiser out there, I will. If I can't, we'll do a generic CM. But we basically want to come and look at the property to make sure it's what you say. If the draw is over, for me personally, if it's over 10, 15,000, I will put money in an escrow account for you for the draw. I'm not going to give it to you because I will tell you that most investors can't put the project together they want. And if you give them all the money, guess what happens? They want to move on to the next project. I want to make sure this project gets done. So now I'm escrowing it. And if they know they can't get no more juice until they do these things, mysteriously the project moves faster. We had one today. The guy said he needed $25,000 and he would give us $35,000 back in 3 months. But he wanted us to be in second position. I don't do second position. And the reason is because if he messes up or she messes up and I'm in second position, when it goes to auction, I ain't getting shit. So if it's not in first position, now I would say there'd be an exception. For an example, just say you had a house worth $200,000 and it was a first position for $20,000 and they needed a second position for $20,000. There's enough spread there that I know. But once it goes into foreclosure and you get attorneys in, they're greedy as hell, them fees get crazy. So, and matter of fact, when you go into foreclosure, I've never had one. I've never even had a late payment. When it goes into foreclosure, whatever interest rate we go, it goes right to 24% because we want you to have urgency to pay us back. But I've never had one. But my attorney, Matt Lawfer, put it in there to protect me. Personal guarantee. We have you sign a personal guarantee because if in fact you play games, again, I'm only speaking for myself. I'm sure Chris has had some bad experiences. I've never had one have to happen, but I make you sign a personal guarantee so that if in fact you play games, I can come after you. Now, I've never had it. Builder's risk policy. If that house burns down while I got my mortgage on it, I want to get my money back. So I put that in there. And we do not close anything. Now, we have a lender's title policy. It's a few $100s. I make you have that because, again, I want to protect my interest and how I will tell you how we have to protect the other people that we're going to be involved very shortly as this presentation goes. Does anybody have any questions? Nobody has any questions?
One question. So I'm kind of unfamiliar with the points aspect. I understand the interest.
So point is 1% of the mortgage amount. So if you borrowed $100,000, 1 point would be $1,000. 3 points would be $3,000. And the reason that they do that because I did a loan the other day, 120,000. I charged 3 points, right? So 3,600. I charged $600 origination, 4,200 right off the bat. That came right in the hopper, and then I just charged the interest from the date that it closes into the date of the end of the month. He came in on the 1st. I did a video on it Saturday, and he gave me $1,200 interest. So I got the juice in the front. Now I'm getting the monthly juice, which is beautiful, right? So points, everybody's going to change your points, because if you just looked at interest per, there's just no money there. Points is where the money's at. And that's where, if anybody ever in here wants to get into points or into private lending, that's where you'll always make your money. Even if you're paying other people money to borrow their money, the spread is the money. The spread is always the money. These guys that I was just with, they got $50 million on the street, these 2 young kids. Most of it is other people's money. But if you just took 50 million and you took 3 points of that, you can only imagine how much money they're making, right? Other people's money, right?
I
And
was just gonna ask that you could have like, not really a lot of money, but you'd still be a private money lender and then just get money from maybe.
I'm going to teach you the whole thing. And I never did this until just recently. And I will tell you right now, this is my life moving forward to the day you guys come and visit me at Lombardo's funeral home. This is what I'm going to do. When the rosary is going to say right there, fractionalized lending. That's what I'm going to do. So click over there. And my whole life is going to be that. I hope you're not paying this guy by the hour.
That guy's me. I'm trying to get.
Oh, it's up.
You never get paid by the hour, because it's about what value I bring.
There you go. Well, that's a great one, yeah. So when these guys, these 2 young kids, they got me, I said, well, would you be interested in doing that? He says, you can't pay me enough hourly. I bring value. So it was $7,500 to jerk his chain, and I jerked it. When I left there, I felt dirty. I did. I just sucked every ounce of blood out of this dude. He goes, man, you're brutal. And then he called me by accident, and I got his cell phone. I'm like, dude, you just made the worst mistake you ever did. He's like, dude, I don't care if you call me, just don't abuse it. I'm like, I just gave you $7,500. I'm abusing it. So there's a big thing with private money, and I'm going to give you an example why it's so important, private money, rather than a partner. Someone that was here maybe a year ago when I was here, he's been buying lots of real estate, lots. And you would know him if I said his name. And he was partnering with someone, and they would do 50-50. He owned a construction company. He would do all the work. This guy, big, well-known guy, if I said, they would do 50-50. And this guy was doing great. So I said to him, I said, Bobby, and he's not the brightest guy, but I said, Bobby, I'm going to say it slow to you. Why don't you just borrow private money? He goes, I would never pay 15 or 16%. I said, well, that's crazy, because you're paying 50% right now. He couldn't wrap his head around that. I'm like, you would rather give a partner 50% than borrow private money, whatever the number was, right? Everybody knows Al Borano's probably one of the bigger players. The rate's crazy, but at the end of the day, it's still way better than this. So here's an exact example that we did with Rodney. Same scenario, partner 20,000, repairs 30,000, holding costs, commissions, purchase price, gross profit. He made $27,000, right? Not bad. Someone else gave him the money. Who wouldn't want to make $27,000? I said, I'm going to get you the same, I'm going to get the money through Al Borano. Did the exact same thing, except the difference was 13% for 6 months, or for 13% at 130, 16,000. He only needed it for 6 months. He paid $8,400, fees and points, 4,000. The same property, the same different scenario, he made 42 instead of 27. Well, if you're doing 4 of them a year, you just made an extra 70,000. Because people's mindset with private money, when people used to tell me, I'll loan you money at 15%, I'm like, you're high. But I'm partnering with a guy and I'm giving him 50%. And it's stupid. I did it all the time. And again, it was great. The other guy that just gave me the money, he's like, I could loan out at 13%, but shit, I got this dumbass Jim Roberts. I'm going to partner with him for 50%. And he's making 37% more. He's happy as well. He's like, keep buying them. I'll keep giving you the juicy juice. But that's the power of private money. And if you get around people, again, I'm a small potato. people that Chris knows and all them people. This is the power of it. You will always find private money. I'm 100% sure if you find the deal. Now, if you don't have a deal, you ain't finding private money. I'm telling you right now. You get a good deal. I just bought one on Jewett Homewood. Does anybody know what Orchard Park is? Pretty nice area. Would everybody agree? Jewett Homewood, it's facing the golf course. I just locked that house up. It is a mess. It's a mess. But I locked it up for $150,000. If anybody knows Jewett Homewood, that's a steal, right? I don't need the private money. I'm self-funding it. But if I needed private money and I called someone, Al Brano, and said, listen, I just locked up a house in Jewett Homewood. I need $150,000. I assure you 100% he would give me the money. 100%, right? Now, if I say I just bought it for $550,000, he's like, small. Dude, there's no room there. I'm not taking the risk. New York State is a title state. When you go into foreclosure, and I know this not from my private lending, but from my other company, you are not foreclosing in days. It's months and years and whatever. So that's the deal. So you could do either one. There's different comfort food for different people. Someone might say, I just want a partner. Me and my brother are partners. He's the labor, I'm the find, or whatever, reverse. It doesn't matter. But either one of them scenarios, if you didn't leverage that, guess how much you got? Zero, right? Zero, zero. Zero is zero. Zero, zero. So that's the scenario. That's, Chris, when you're done flipping.
And my wife is.
So this is my new baby. This is my new baby. This is what I'm going to spend, pivot out of flipping, and this is going to be my baby. You had this thing for 2 weeks. Now he's taking pictures. He's had it for 2 weeks. He was procrastinating. I would tell you that I am going to make more money off of this. When you the next time you see me here and you see that new Z06, well, if my wife approves it. Every time me and my wife fight, you know what her favorite word is? Half. That word's scary. It used to be like, it would be like, screw you. No, half is a scary word. I didn't even know what that half. I'm like, oh, baby, what you want me to do? I'll cut the grass. I'll cut the shit out of this grass. I'll do everything. We want me to go shopping, whatever you need me to do. But anyways, this is the new baby. And these boys taught me this. And now, if I ever had another kid, which it's impossible, but if I did, I want these two guys to be the godfather. I let them split it up. One, because they got 50 million on the street. But two, they taught me this. And the power of it, me just dabbling it right now is going to change my life, my trajectory. I don't have to do shit. I do it because I get off on it. You know, when you're younger, you're in your 20s, you like drugs, right? 30s, you dabble, and then 40, you're scared of them. So now as I'm getting older, I just want to make money. So here's the deal. People call this all different stuff, right? Depending on who's the coach. Wrap, fractionalized, arbitrage. Everybody has a different name for it. All it means is there's great opportunity for two people. And I'm going to walk you through this one. And I'm telling you, if you don't take anything out of this, this is what you want to take. Because I'm telling you, if you don't have money, you'll make money. If you have money, you can create generational wealth for you and your family. And I'm telling you now, I'm going to kick so much ass. I'm actually scaring myself. I'm scaring myself. But anyways, here's the deal. I just did one. I'm getting about a 46% return, guys. 46%. Here's the deal. Here's the total loan amount. Focus. Focus. Don't think about UFC fighting. Focus. The total loan amount is $200,000. The interest rate to the borrower, anybody in here, is 13%. The points are 3%. The loan amount is 6%. Out of the $200,000, if anybody in this room has money, Chuck says, I want to get now, I have it in the bank at 1%. I really want to make 10%. So Chuck gives me 150, I throw in 50,000. Out of the 50,000, now we move it down a needle, right? So Chuck's 150, I'm 50. We move it down a notch. So now we're still at the same 200. That's $26,000 interest. For 6 months, that's 13%. Now here's where I'm going to make the money. Chuck, I'm going to pay you 10% on your money, Chuck. 150 at 10% is 15,000. I'm going to give you 15,000 divided by 2 because it's only a 6-month loan. That's $7,500. Now follow me. I couldn't get it all on one slide, so you're going to have to kind of think about it for a minute. So now here's how we're going to make money together. Private money lender. I'm going to charge you 3 points, right? So on 200,000, I'm going to take 3 points, right? Everybody follow me? For the old guys in this room, if this doesn't give you a little tingle, nothing's going to do it. For the young guys, think about the new car you're going to buy. Total interest. Now follow me. I'm going to say it slow one more time. Total interest is 13,000. We pulled it from the other page, right? 6,000 in points. 3 points times 200,000, 19,000. Interest paid to the co-lender. I'm paying 10% on his 150 for 60,000, right? Net profit is the total amount of interest. I'm getting the points, all the bullshit. 19,000 minus 750 I give to Chuck. I make 11,500. So the 11,500 on my $50,000 for 6 months is annualized. That's the yield. That's the yield. I'm making 46% on my money. Where am I going to make that kind of money? Now, if I can do less, I can do more. The more you put in, the more obviously you'll make, right? Because you're getting a better, but also the less you put in, the more deals you can have your hands in and get them points. So this will be, if you ever come to my office, which I hope nobody does, but if you ever did, this is going to be for the rest of my life. That's all I'm going to do, because I'm flipping houses and I'm busting my ass and doing all this. And when these guys showed me this on a scale, it's absurd. Absurd what private money can do for you. Now, why would anybody do this? Why would anybody do? Steve, you got a bunch of money in your 401k, right? Now, you could do it at 13%, right? And Steve says, but I don't want to deal with nothing. And I'm only getting 3% in my checking account. Well, Steve, if I could give you 10%, would you be interested? Steve says, yeah. So Steve's going to go from 3 to 10, right? That's why it is. Now you ask someone, when you ask someone, you're just talking, how does this conversation, I just built out a complete slide deck on it. Slide deck, so I can send it to investors. Just have the conversation. What do you do with your investments? When they say I got it on Bank on Buffalo, you know you got a possibility. Now, if they say, now if you're with real rich people, which I am not, 10% is nothing to them because they're going to be moving money fast and furious. But for someone like my brother that retired from General Motors that got 300 grand in the bank, 10% is better than the 0.0001%, right? That's the person I'm going to go after. So, well, Dominic knows a guy. We both know. Dominic knows all the rich people. I don't know. I just bumped into this guy by accident. But he's going to give us $1 million. Going to give us $1 million, and we're going to pay him 10%. Now, why would he do that? Because he's got many, many millions of dollars, and he doesn't want to be chasing. He doesn't want to be inspected. He just wants his return every single month. So, but that's going to be what the situation is. I know for some people in here, it's as simple as simple. But does anybody have any questions on that?
I have a comment. You know, back 2014, going back a while ago, I was in the extremely wealthy, successful man got on stage and said these words, and I remember he said, the ultimate in real estate is being the bank.
Yeah.
You literally just showed that, so thank you for doing that, because that is, like, everybody that's in real estate, this is what you're working for. Like, I went through hell with those books.
Yeah.
Every fucking day of it. But I got to the point where you're at, and this is what you're working for. This is freedom of time.
Yep.
And this is the easiest way you're going to make money.
To quantify it, just say you could raise $1 million, and I guarantee everybody in here can raise $1 million. It sounds like a lot, but it's not. At a 6% spread, 3 points and 3%, you're making $60,000 to $65,000 on someone else's money. How many of them do you have to do to change your life? Everybody in here is different, right? But in West New York, if you did 4 of them, you're living like a rock star, So this is going to be my entirely focus. Yes, sir.
My question, you said
No, I've never had one. I'm sure they do.
you're doing this, you're partnering with like one of us.
Yep. Well, so I'm in first loss position. So here's how, incredible question. Steve, would you mind getting me a water, please?
Yes.
Thank you so much. So this question was, it's Tony. I don't know how I knew that. He looks like a Tony. Tony and Ralph, I knew them two names here. But anyways, so there's a great question. Could you lose the money? Absolutely. Likelihood of it is almost impossible. If I'm doing first loss position, and if you meant the slide earlier, I only loan 70% of after repair value. So for simple math, on 200,000, I'm at 140. If I'm on 50 on the transaction, we're down to 90. If things totally went chaos, could it happen? It could, but it would be no different than me buying Dell stock, thinking I'm going to buy it, and it went from $72 to $4. The reason I like this model is because I have a tangible asset in first loss position. Could it happen? 100%, because all you got to do is go down to Law Journal. But if you look at most of the houses that go into foreclosure, this is what the problem is. They have no equity spread. That's why first you got to have the 10% in it. Second, I'm only giving you money on your repairs through escrow. And third, I'm loaning at 70 cents on a dollar. So could it happen? Absolutely, Tony. I only can speak for myself. It's never happened. And I'm willing to go in first loss position because I would really have to mess up for it to happen. But the best part for me, and everybody in here is different, if in fact it ever happened, let's just say someone said, boom, like we don't give the money up front like we used to because I learned. But it just say, Ron doesn't know what he's doing. He starts this rehab and he says, you know what? My wife left me. I want to leave. Sorry, I know you're going through that, but no. But I shouldn't have said that. But anyways, Ron, you might get back with it if I got. But anyways, here's the deal. If Ron started this rehab and he didn't know what he did, and a lot of rehabbers, what do they do first? They gut it, right? No plan, no thought, no scope of work. And I'd have to come in. I have a construction company, so I could probably rehab it pretty easy relative, say someone else couldn't do that. But I could tell you that the percentage of it, of these people that I've been hanging with, my new best friends, is probably less than a couple percent. Could it happen? Of course it could. But if you're like now, we're so tight, man. We're doing underwriting, compliance. We're doing it really good. When we did it 2 years ago, I was just a wild man. If you told me you're going to pay me 13 and 3, I'm just writing checks, right? Now we're going through the steps. We're on the phone. What are you going to do? What's that? If the scope of work seems crazy, I want to see it. I'm going to do the inspections. But absolutely, 100%. Anybody that says that they would never lose money, I'm telling you on the rehab right now, if I would have loaned, I've self-funded it, but if I would have loaned private money on that one and we came into what we came, it could get real ugly. But, and again, I don't want to loan money to everybody. I want to find 5 or 10 good flippers that are really solid and just keep recycling it. I don't want to have the one-timer. I don't want that person because the risk of that is too great. But yes, it could happen. I can only speak for myself, and I'm sure Al Barano's had some bad ones. I'm sure Dave Myers had some bad ones. I'm sure Chris has had some bad ones. I've never had one. And maybe I'm lucky, or maybe my underwriting is really good and I protect myself. But yes, it could. She said she's from Russia, and right? No, I'm joking. Oh, I thought you said you were from Russia. I know, I'm not joking. All right. So, no, I know, I was making it funny, but, sh- um, but anyways, so her question was, the ARV is the ARV. It doesn't matter how the front end starts. If you don't know ARV, for an example, I have 460 realtors. Most of them don't know ARV, right? Because they don't know. And now with the market changing, right? What sold 3 months ago for 200 is now 180, right? So ARV, after repair value, is you have to dig down in the comps and really look. I have appraisers. We could bring all 4 appraisers in here and we could take this exact same building and all 4 of us would have a different price, right? But we'd all be within range, right? I might be at 200, he's at 190, he's at 210, but it's within range. But I'm going to look at all the comps, and I teach a class just on that, not to, just to my agents. We look at the street and we back it in. Let me give you an example where ARV can get really ugly. Does anybody know Cheektowaga? Anybody ever hear Cheektowaga? So certain areas of Cheektowaga, Lawson Road going towards Lancaster, that's a whole different type of Cheektowaga than if you're off of William or Sullivan, right? So if you're looking at comps, and that's what wholesalers do, they just truly do not know. So they'll give me a comp that's on Rushford and off of Lawson Road, and they go, that's one of their comps, and it's a gorgeous street, all beautiful homes, and it's worth 300 grand. And they're giving me a comp off of East Elvin. Not that East Elvin's bad, but the highest sales 125, right? Well, I can't use that comp, but if you don't know better, and that's even where private money lenders get jammed up because they don't know the market. That's why they hire an appraiser. But if the appraiser doesn't know what he or she is doing, that's when it can go crazy. That's why I physically do the inspection. I have an appraiser. I do all because you have to protect yourself. But I will tell you, anybody that tells you that this cannot go wrong, it could. It could, but anything. I bought Dell stock at one level, it went up, it went down, bad. I bought many stocks because I thought someone on Fox News told me that was going to be the new one, and or one of my buddies when we're out at Mickey Rat's, he goes, dude, you got to buy the stock. It's down. And then next week it went from $3 to 14 cents. That's a shit. This, I'm in first position. This is going to be what I do. Again, I'm not advocating anybody do it. I'm just telling you that I do it, what I do, how I do it, and it's up to you. So whatever. So, but there's nowhere in the market you're going to ever get them returns. Not flipping houses, not wholesaling houses, and without, the marketing to it. Go ahead. Oh, go. How can you find them? You got to come do investor meetings like this. You got to meet people. There's probably someone in here that hosts us. What area do you like to buy in? Well, give me an example, Buffalo. That's a big area. Well, that's not, you just said Buffalo, which, oh, like, if you couldn't go in your car tomorrow morning and drive up and down Buffalo, West Side, and find 50 high lawns that you could track down. The biggest problem with people that flip houses is, and there's everybody, we're all the same. Everybody buys the same data. It's the follow-up. If you do not have good follow-up, you're wasting your time. You can go right online right now, everybody in here, and pull up the Erie or City of Buffalo housing violations. There's hundreds of them. Go by there. If it still hasn't been fixed, that's a lead for you. The problem is, are you going to follow up on that lead? I'll read you a text right now. This came over at, okay. All right. This came over at 11:26 this morning. Anybody can document it. I'm not lying. I don't give a shit. But it says, hi, Jim. We've accepted your offer at blah, blah, blah. My wife and I will accept your offer for 200,000+. Please ask your staff to send me the contract for my attorney review. When you have 5 minutes, call me so I can set up the contract. There's certain things that got to be in there. Today is my birthday. So tomorrow, I said, oh, happy birthday. Mine was yesterday, which it was. He says, same, happy birthday, Jim. We'll call you mine. I was on this guy so bad, it scared me. I wanted this house so bad I could taste it. I was just on him every day. Text, call, text, call, text. He finally raised his hand. I bet you there was 10 other people at that house because we're all the same. We're all postcards. We're all TV. We're all fucking bullshit. We're all liars, right? It's all the same shit. At the end of the day, whoever follows up wins. That's how it is. So I am a relentless bulldog. If I want it. Now, obviously, I lose houses all the time. I bid 100. Billy Bob offers 99. I never follow up. And then they get it. It's just the way it works. But I will tell you, I am a relentless. I put the headset on in the morning, and I'm on them lists, and I'm calling and calling and calling. Once that lead comes through, I give it to my lead intake person. She says hot, warm, cold. If it's hot, that's every day, until they say, I'm going to kill you or I sold it. I'm going to kill you or I'm going to sell. Either one of them scare me, so I just stay away. We've had people come in our office. You motherfucker, you keep. I'm like, oh, that wasn't me. That's that guy over there. Give that guy a call. And they just, but that's how you win. If you don't want to do that, then don't do it. Click away. That's it? No, there was one more.
Now that's that.
That's it? That's it? I was going to tell you one example. So again, these guys taught me so much shit. So everything I buy now, I leverage private money. So let me give you an example of the power of private money. Does anybody in here ever want to buy a car? At some point, we want to buy a car, right? Whatever the car is, right? So I start saying to myself, and obviously Chris does that whole life. I don't even, that's way above my pay grade. I don't even understand what he's doing. I know, but he's good at it. I don't understand. I read the book. I still, when I get done, I'm still, don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, but anyways, so here's what I do. So let's just say tomorrow I want to go get a new Corvette, which I do, right? And I know that I can, it's just 100,000 for the sake of argument. And I know that I can borrow with my credit. I have perfect credit. I can borrow at 5% through the credit anywhere. It doesn't matter the thing. All I'm going to do is take the same 100 that I would have. Normally, my mindset was a mess 5 years ago. I'd pay cash for the car because I feel good. I don't own a car. I paid cash for the car. Now I just switched my head. Now I take the same 100 grand that I had cash and I loan it out at 13 and 3. I take that money and I pay to 5 and I make the spread. Now I drive the car for free. So now I just, bye, Steve. Oh, you leaving? Oh, I thought he either had. So anyways, here's the best one. So that's the one. Then I buy a brand new Hummer. 130, there was a slide in there, they deleted it. 136,000. I didn't pay $1 for it because I leveraged other money, paid that. And then my wife, when I first started doing this, she's like, oh, nobody wants it because I couldn't. We both grew up the same. We didn't have, our life was you work your whole life, you save $8 a week in your 401k, and then when you're about 65 and right before they tell you you're going to retire, you got a little bit of money in there, and then you just take that, and when that's over, you go to a nursing home. They take the rest of it in sleepy time. So this was so then I buy the Hummer, and I do the same exact concept. I get the other money, and I do that. And my wife says to me, at first she was real apprehensive when I started doing this because our brains don't work like that the way that we were raised. She's like, can you do that for me? Because once I trained her brain, look at the power of this. There's an agent, I don't want to say his name, but you would all know him. He comes in every month and makes my car payment for me. What the power of that is, right? Now, everybody in here should have one question. One question with that. What if I don't have money? Is anybody in here not capitalized with a lot of money? Right? You don't have any money? I can't use your name. I got to have someone in the name. I can't keep using Chuck. He's not happy. Anybody on this side that don't have a lot of money with an easy name for me? Oh, he's got a lot of money. What's your name?
Jeremy.
What is it?
Jeremy.
Oh, Jeremy, I can work with that. So Jeremy says, Jim, I love everything you said. That shit just don't work for me because the last time I looked at my checking account, I got $13,000, and that ain't going to do this, right? So the same $200,000 that I'm talking about, if Jeremy found Ralph's got a lot of money, said, Ralph, I'm going to do this fractionalized lending. Jeremy would need $400,000 to do the same thing I'm talking about doing for cash. So Jeremy would raise the money, leverage that money, and then spread it out towards the car. He drives the car for free. That's the reality of it. And this, I assure you, very soon you'll stop seeing me doing all them videos that I do because one, I'm getting older. And when I started doing this shit, I'm like, I built out this calculator. It's really cool because I really don't know computers, right? Most people in here could probably do it in AI in about a minute. I spent days on Excel and I put in all the formulas and it looks really pretty. And when I got to the back end of that page, it was like 9 formulas that I put. I saw the number. I'm like, what am I doing? All this other bullshit, chasing shit. I don't need to chase anymore. There's so much money there. So that is going to be the future. So the next time you see a video, like the one I did Sunday, when I went to that young kid's house, he had his mother putting the subfloors in. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna take a point off your interest just because that impressed me. I'm like, if your mom is up in here with some shorties on Sunday, putting some subfloors in, you're my hero to get your mom to do that. So I take a point off of that. But the point is, his concept is working for him. He's going to make the money. I'm going to make the money on the spread. And if I could figure a way to use other people's money, that spread number gets stupid. Stupid. So that is the future. Private money, whether you're buying houses for the first time, You're leveraging private money, but as Chris said, everybody's end game should be lazy money, making other money make money for you. And that is going to be my goal until the sleeper comes and gets me, right? And that's it. So anyways, guys, my name's Jim. Please never call me, text me, or email me. No, I'm joking. I'm being an asshole. But if anybody has a question, honestly, especially if you've never bought a house, I love to help people get started. I teach a couple classes at my office, and it's because everybody can do it. And if someone in this room says, oh, I can't do it because I grew up poor, you're an excuse maker. The letter E makes two words, excuses or execution. Pick whatever one you want. And when I wanted it really bad again. And that's the deal. And don't let anybody tell you anything different, where you came from, what you look like. It's all bullshit. Just get after it. So my cell phone is 716. Do not text me after 6 o'clock at night. I will not respond. I'm already into the juicy. 716-480-3049. Honestly, if I can ever help anybody, I'm not looking for anything. I just want to see people win. And if you win, stop by my office so I can take a picture of you standing in a Lamborghini, and a real one, not like these guys on Facebook and shit. It's all fake and shit. They rent one for the day through Turo. It's like, I'm like, dude, it says Mike's light on the license plate. Your name's Chuck. Oh, not you, but Howie. I don't want to. Yeah, you're a lying motherfucker. You ain't doing shit. But you rented that Turo for $400. You like, So I'm just saying, if I can ever help anybody, honestly, but you have a resource here that I'm telling you that nobody has. And truly, if New York was ahead of the curve like we should be, they would value what we have anywhere around the country, what we have. But either way, guys, you got a question? You did a half arm. Oh, hold. Go quick, because Chris is going to do his magic. Chris has got to go home. He's got a baby at home.
She's actually a foreigner. She's not a baby anymore.
All right. Well, when they're 4, they're baby.
What helped you change your mindset in the beginning of the presentation?
Being broke. Honestly, when you're so scared of being broke, and then what drove me more than that, again, I'm nobody. I'm just telling you, I'm nobody. But growing up poor, when I started to make some money, and then you make $1 million or whatever, the number is that magical goal. Now you realize it's nothing. But I was so afraid to go backwards because, like I said, my parents gave me everything they had. It just wasn't, like I said, when they said you want to go out to dinner, that meant, do you want to eat on the front porch or the back porch? That's just the way it was. There was no dinner, and it wasn't even a picnic table out there. A couple of paint cans flipped upside down, happy birthday with a couple, and it was like, you want a hot dog? That was hot dog or hamburger. It wasn't like, would you like a ham? No, one. Pick one and make sure you eat them. Yeah, there was nothing like my kids' experience. No, they just live a crazy life.
Best way to find coaches.
Huh?
Best way to find
Well,
coaches.
Chris, obviously, but the best thing is do your own diligence. Everybody has a strength. Like I said, there's a million people in every space. I can only tell you my own experience. Chris probably knows way better than me. There's good ones and there's bad ones. There's good doctors, there's good teachers, there's good realtors, there's certainly good attorneys. I do my due diligence. And when I lock into someone, I ask for validation. Does people know them? I follow them on YouTube a little bit. Most of the coaches, and it is weird for me, are very young. And it's because their learning curve, because of this type of stuff in the internet. Like when I started buying houses, there was none of it. I was the only guy in town. Now there's 100 of us, and you can become a rock star in months, right? You can go from homeless to successful because of technology. And if you're young and you understand technology, I don't like all that new shit that voodoo shit with the chat PD and all that shit. I don't get all that shit. My secretary or my CFO is 5 years older than me. She does everything with it. She'll do a business plan in 14 seconds. I'm in there typing shit. But the coaches, you have resources. Chris has so many free resources before you just learn, but most importantly, don't procrastinate, execute. If you find the good deal, I guarantee you, Chris or someone in this room will buy the property. Guarantee you.
You mentioned that you go to these like seminars.
Mm-hmm.
What is the one that you attend regularly, if any?
I would just say that you won't be able to get in them. I'm not being rude. I'm just saying when you get into some of these, there's a criteria, right? If I was brand new like you, I would look at some of the ones online that are not brand new, but you know, $1,500. But when you start, they want, the reason that these seminars or private money classes are successful is because they bring big dogs in the room so that you could share knowledge, right? Like me personally, it's nothing to do with you. I personally wouldn't want to pay $10,000 to be in a room if the person that was in the room with me wasn't doing more than me. I could tell you the last one I just went to. I'll give you one actually that might be helpful for you. But the last one I went to, without question, and it's embarrassing. I was the oldest person in the room, without question. I mean, I knew I was. And I did my hair and I put the Louis Vuittons. I tried everything. I still was old. I was fucking old. I'm looking at guys like Dylan. I'm like, Jesus. I mean, it makes you feel dirty, right? But so, anyways, I was the oldest and the brokest one in the person. I got lucky to get in the room, right? Because I didn't meet that threshold that they wanted, but they let me in because I did the magic thing. I paid. But there's one called Deal Maker. It's a very inexpensive one. I've been to it a bunch of times, but the problem is they have a couple good speakers, but there's a lot of brand new people there. So if you're trying to network, you just got to make sure when you're there, you're not networking with people that can't drive your car, right? You got to push. You got to push the needle. You should not out, you know, you shouldn't, you know, just put it. But I mean, there's masterminds out there, Investor Fuel, Collective. I could give you $125,000, $30,000. You're going to be in a better room. But if you're not ready for that room, you know, it's going to be tough. My ex-wife hasn't asked me this many questions. Go ahead.
How do you find contractors?
Who?
Contractors.
Well, Dimitri's one of the best in the whole area.
By far.
Expensive as hell, but he's good.
Definitely not cheap, but value.
No, I'm joking. He's never done a
Cost is
job
only
for
an
me.
issue in the absence
So,
of value.
so the biggest
Amazing.
dilemma, if you remember what I said, I have 10 full-time guys on my staff, construction guys, but I am totally pivoting to hoteling. Not that it's flipping, there's more money, but the stress of it is crazy.
Well, you mentioned that you clean up and, you know, spruce it up a
Just,
little
we
bit
clean
and
them up,
hotel.
change a lockbox, and I auction them off.
How do you market? How do you find them? What kind of, that's the
Oh,
marketing?
Honey,
Yellow
that's,
letters?
yeah, that's $7,500. Go ahead, go ahead. No, you got to buy the
Well,
course
you're
now.
already here, so.
No, all
might
right,
as
go
well.
ahead. What was your next one? Give me two more,
How
and
do
then
you find the assignable properties?
Assignable?
Yes.
Oh, any
Who do you-
wholesaler out there, there's tons of them. Everybody, listen, is anybody in this room, here's the question, does anybody in this room have money? Okay, does anybody need money? You talk. That's what he does. That's the matchmaker. I did one the other day, we're in there. There's like 4 guys or people, I don't want to say guys, can't say anyway, 4 humans, right? They had the money, and all 300 did not have the money. Go talk to them. Go buy a beer. They got the money. They want to give it to you. You need the money. Go get it from them, right? Yeah, that's that. Chris does the matchmaker for private money, just like matchmaker for whatever these things are, right? As long as you're looking in the right spots, you'll find the money. But if you find the right deal, I don't care who you are in this room. I don't care. You'll find the right deal. You'll find someone to do it. And you just got to find out what works best for you. But if you're newer to the business, I would not dive into flipping, because you will get eaten alive. You'll get eaten alive. Start out baby steps, right? Maybe get one under contract, find someone in here, Dimitri, to help you out and do that. Baby steps, right? You know, don't try to get crazy, because we call you the one and done. Is that it?
For now.
Holy moly. Anybody else got a question? No, honestly, I'm not sorry, because I think the biggest thing with, you have to be willing to help people. You have to have gratitude. Now, within reason, right? You can't, like someone of Chris's caliber, you can't be meeting people for coffee. I want to pick your brain. Well, that brain costs them $500,000 to get. You can't just, I want to bring, no, you can't. But if someone calls me and says, hey, listen, I'm looking at buying a house at 123 Smith Street. Will you have one of your appraisers look it up? 100%. Hey, I did this. I'll do it quickly, but I'm not meeting you for coffee. My family is everything to me. That's who I spend all my time with, and that's the deal. But I take calls all the time from new investors because I want them to succeed. As long as they don't waste my time. If they keep asking me the same shit, it's a wrap. But again, anybody to the level of, you just don't have the time. You got to maximize your hour. And that's when you ever talk to these people, though, some will say, I'll give you $500 an hour, and that's a lot of money. But if you're doing in this space, you can't give up your time for that. You can't. You want to, but you can't logically. You just can't do it. So I try to keep it to our agents because we want our agents to invest in themselves. But I will tell you this, when I post it up there, if someone calls and says, what is your name? Tyree? That's an easy one. So Tyree, if you called and said, hey, I see you're doing an appraisal class, can I pop in? Yeah, I just can't do it like this. We don't have the capacity. And I want to focus, honestly, I want to focus on our agents creating generational wealth for themselves. But if there's opening, we're going to be taking, we have like 8 rehabs going right now. We're going to take a bunch of our agents out in the next probably 3 or 4 weeks. When I post that, if someone calls and says, I really want to do, go ahead, brother. Yeah, no, take it easy, cowboy. Thank you. If if there's openings, I want everybody to win, obviously. And in full disclosure, the reason I want you to win is because at some point we're going to collaborate together and I'm going to make money off you. And that, huh? Yeah, post them on Facebook. I'm at 5,000 friends, so you can like the page or whatever you want. I don't know how to, but we have all the meetings at 960 Center Road. It holds about 30 people, and that's all we got. But again, there's someone in here. Frank's done, I've assigned probably 4 or 5 houses to Frank. He's flipping houses. Chris has done hundreds. These guys over here are the creative financing geniuses. You have the guy back there that rehabs hundreds of houses for high-end investors. You have a giant attorney here of massive capabilities, right? Ralph owns a painting company. If you're in the corner and you're talking and you're not talking, you're doing yourself an injustice. That's what the whole this meeting is why Chris does. We're all here to make money. There's anybody that says that is lied. But I want to help you get there. But at the same point, you got to network with each other, right? Because someone in here, I just bought a gorgeous 6-unit building. When I start the meeting, I didn't want to step on Chris. So anybody got anything to sell? And this guy just pops up out of nowhere. I got a 6-unit. I'm like, I want to stop the conversation. I don't want nobody else to hear. I'm like, where? Kenmore. I'm like, okay. All right. Everybody, we're going to start the meeting. I was on that dude so bad. I was in love with him. He's like, dude. So the point is, everybody in this room is in a different space, right? You just got to find people that can help you move the needle. That's all. And don't be afraid of the needle. Just keep moving. And everybody on the one slide, another presentation, naysayers. I will tell you the biggest hurdle, and Chris probably had more than anybody I've ever witnessed in my life. Everybody didn't believe in his vision, right? I didn't even believe it. I was hoping it worked, just so I could say I knew him. But at the end of the day, naysayers, especially when you're growing up, and unless, we were trained one way, and when your family doesn't believe in what you can do, they're called naysayers. You got to get them out of your box, because if they're in your box, they will destroy your mindset, and they will take when I start buying houses, my father-in-law, we were all trained. Again, perfect. You go to work, you graduate high school, you get a job my brother got me a job at a factory, and you work there until you're 62, you get your Social Security, you live a great life, beautiful life, beautiful life. But when I went off that path, my father-in-law wouldn't talk to me, and they wouldn't even talk to me for a long time until they started seeing the fruits fall off this tree, and then they're asking me, what you do? I said, well, I went a different path. There's no right or wrong path for everybody, but you just got to decide what the path is that you want. And it's never too late, honest to God. There's a guy that taught me he's 78 years old. He didn't start till he was 72 years old, and now he's a big player. 78. The sad part is he's not going to be able to enjoy all them fruits that he's done, but he's living a life that he's never had before, from 72 until 100, whatever that number is. So with that being said, guys, listen, I'm always willing to help anybody. Don't call me after 6 o'clock at night and before 9 o'clock in the morning. But if you need some, shoot me a text and say, hey, I met you at Chris Nagel's event. I bought a house. Can you help me out? And that's it. I'm not looking for nothing other than, if you win, I want to see that picture of the Lamborghini. Guys, thank you. And thank you, Chris, so much for letting me come.
That was really good. That was amazing. And listen,
everything he said, all of you need to apply it. He's taller than me, so I'm going to stand up here. All I want to do, because I know I want all of you to network. Everybody now knows that you got Dominic, who's the attorney. We got the creative finance over here. You got a painter. You got lots of people. You got people in the back of the room. Always the money's usually in the back of the room. Okay? So please network while we're done here. I'll leave this open. I mean, we'll start cleaning up, but just keep networking. But here's one thing I want to point out. You can kind of see it behind me. A few years ago after COVID, I was done with real estate. Jim said this, real estate's tough. It beats you up. A couple hundred flips, you're ready to just literally some days just kind of just jump out in the middle of rush hour traffic. It's a tough business. And that person, Greg, who told me from that stage, me and my wife, he said, the ultimate in real estate is being the bank. I had accumulated 91 doors. I'd done many flips. We were doing well, but it was just like money would come in and it'd go right back out the door. Money would come in and go right back out the door. COVID hit, and all of a sudden, the state that we live in, beautiful state of New York, said, hey, your tenants don't have to pay and you can't fucking evict them. And just so Jim knows, like, you can't swear on this one. We live in New York. You gotta know we have a license to swear here in this state. It's just part of the thing. Anyway, when they said that, I'm like, I'm done with this. I sold almost all my properties. I think today me and my wife have 7 or 8 properties, which I'm selling one, and then I'll sell them all. Like, I'd sell them all tomorrow. Because I understood the ultimate was being the bank. So when that happened, I had a bunch of money. And I'm like, I'm going to be the bank. I'm going to start lending. You would think that's easy, right? You can only come to this event once a month. You can come to Jim's event once a month. They got 2 events. Hopefully you can find somebody to borrow or lend money to or borrow money from. But I said, why isn't there a place where people with money can meet people that need money? I drew it on a napkin. I'll never forget it. I'm in Los Angeles. I'm speaking. I'm sitting at a bar, and I'm like, there has to be the equivalent of a dating site for money. People with money meet people that need money. I mean, that's a simple concept, right? How many of you probably won't admit it, but I know some of you have used dating sites. Easy, right? Men, women come together. They put a bio up. They kind of do their thing, and they go off and whatever. I said that needs to exist for money. So I created it. I had no idea the legalities we were going to get into and the regulations and everything else, but we figured it out. It's right here. Private Money Club. We started this 4 years ago with 0 people. It started on Slack. Literally just like a couple of my friends were like had money. A couple of people needed money. They'd post their deal on Slack. That's how it started. Listen, folks, what I'm trying to tell you, your dreams, your ambitions, your ideas, your worthy idea, as Earl Nightingale would say, it starts on a napkin. This is where it started. How many people you think are on Private Money Club today, 4 years later? Over 9,000 people. But here's the best news. Because of my business, BYOB, most of the people, 60% as of today, are lenders. They're people with money because they've got these policies we set them up with, or they got self-directed IRAs. They want to lend money. So like I noticed when we asked who in here needs money, raise your hand if you need money. Keep your hands high. Awesome. Now put your hands down. How many of you in here have money that you want to lend? People are like, put your hand up high. Those are the people. So like right there, you can see there are people that have money and the people that need money, but both have a problem. People that have money want to make more. People that need money, well, you need money to make money. So simple. Solve each other's problems. That's the secret to your whole life. Solve somebody else's problem. All I did is I said, that problem can be solved really simply. Let's create a dating site for money. 9,000 people are on this site. The problem I have with this site right now is I don't have enough borrowers. And I'm not just saying that. I don't have enough borrowers. And some of you are like, well, how much does it cost? It's fucking free. Thank your state, thank your regulators, thank your legislators, because it's free. I have to offer this for free to every single person that wants to do this, because otherwise we couldn't do this in states, because they'd be like, oh, you're a mortgage broker, oh, you're a broker dealer, oh, you're a financial advisor. They'd come up with some excuse. So we said, fine, we'll do it for free. And that's what it is. You can come on to Private Money Club, create a profile like you do Instagram, Facebook. You can post your deal just like these people are here. Now, the one thing you will see, these little things up here, that means these are paid members. Why would they want to be paid? Convenience, notifications, and data. That's it. Paid members, which we call premier members, the only thing they get to do is when Mitzi's new to the site. She come to our event, Money Club. And Mitzi posts deals. She's got a lot of mobile homes. She's crushing it right now. Crushing it. She paid because when her deal, you get 30 days to post your deal, okay? After the 30 days, you have to repost your deal if you didn't get money the first time. Well, you have to decide, do you want to go and redo all the stuff to create the deal, which isn't hard, but it takes time, or do you just want to hit repost? Well, if you want to hit repost, that costs money. There's an annual fee or a monthly fee, and it's not expensive. It's like $1,000 a year, or $97 a month, I think, is what we charge. But nonetheless, I'm not trying to sell you guys anything. I'm just saying this resource is here. Brandon, right over here on community, can you click on that? What we did is we created this just like every other social media site you've ever been on. It's super easy. You go in here like, hey, these folks right here, they just posted like a family photo. Hey, come, I don't know what they've got. I don't look at this every day. World's most dynamic real estate project. Bullshit. Keep going. Okay, this guy. Let me talk about this guy, Rashad. Some of you that follow basketball will realize and recognize this name, Rashad Jones, an NBA player. He is doing tiny home developments. I met him at a mastermind. Jim goes to masterminds. We spend a lot of money. The mastermind I go to is $60,000 a year. It's called Boardroom, Billionaire Boardroom. You can become a boardroom member. It's $30,000. You want to play with the big boys? 60 grand a year. How many of you would say that's the stupidest fucking waste of money you'd ever do? Good, you listen to Jim. I've been in that group almost 10 years. Like, that group has funded my deals. That group, now I lend money to that group. They're an amazing group, but he's part of that group. He's doing tiny home developments. He's raised millions of dollars. Our biggest success is a developer that raised $60 million on Private Money Club. There's been hundreds of millions of dollars of transactions going on in Private Money Club. And here's the best part. We don't get in the middle of your deal. You and the lender, or the lender and the borrower, depending on what side of the coin you're on, you guys do the deal. So you got to educate yourself. You got to get with a good attorney that knows how to protect your ass. Because, hey, that's the name of the game. If you're a lender, Jim laid out the formula on how to protect yourself, how to do it right. Get yourself a good real estate attorney. Learn how the contracts work. And if you're a borrower, just don't be lazy. Put your deal together. Put it together the right way. Put together photos and comps and appraisals and spend some money and make your deal presentable. Rashad spends an amazing amount of time. Go back to deals. Rashad spends an amazing amount of time posting deals. Let me find, right down here, tiny home cash flow. I'm not talking about him just because he's an NBA player, but I'm talking about him because the way he presents his deals it's very detailed. He does a great job of telling his story, his vision. He gives you all the numbers. He shows you everything. Like, you think that stuff cost money for him to do? Of course it did. He's putting the money in to show you. And you know what else he's got? He's got one thing that a lot of you in here do. A track history. He's already done a tiny home development, fully completed. All the investors paid back the money. So you know what he does now? He's not like, I'm just going to duplicate that. I'm just going to repeat the process. If you have a success story, repeat the success story. Tell your story. Okay? Tell your story to everybody else. That's all he's doing. He's paying 20%, pretty rich, but to him, just like you mentioned, 20% is nothing compared to what he's making. He doesn't give a shit that he pays 20, 24, 25%, 12 months. Like, I'm just saying, your deal, if you have one, belongs on Private Money Club. If you're somebody that has money, you belong on Private Money Club, and you can sift through the deals. You can send messages. Go to the members. I mean, you can go through 9,000 people down at the bottom, members. You could literally go through 9,000 members. And here's the thing. You could search over there. Let's just say all you wanted was lenders that have $250,000 to $500,000 to lend. You can set your criteria. Now, that's Premier members, but you could set your criteria. So the only people you see are the people that can make your deal happen. But go in there, start talking to people. Like, I don't know how many people are here, 30, I didn't count, 30 people. There's 9,000 people there. You think you can do some damage with 9,000 people in a place where everybody that's there is there for one of two things? To lend money or to raise money. That's it. They're not there because they want to go on a date. They're not there because they want to go to get coffee. They're there to lend money or raise money. Get on Private Money Club. Don't pay for the Premier membership. I'm telling you that. Go on for free. Browse around. Start talking to people. You will know when the right time is to become a Premier member. It's when you're serious about raising or lending money. Then you will become that. Jim, what he just said on stage was phenomenal. That was the best talk I've ever heard you do. I haven't heard a lot of your talks recently, but that was phenomenal. It was spot on. Like, every one of you in here has to do something. I said something earlier to someone, I think it was Ron. You know, I don't know who it was, but I said, a ship that sits in a harbor waiting for perfect weather never leaves the harbor. It makes me sick. Jim, you've seen people for 20, 30 years, but it makes me sick. I've been in this game a while, to watch people time and time again come and like get all the knowledge and see all the stuff that's going on, and watch people that have success and they do nothing. Nothing. That's a mindset problem. That's not a money problem. That's not a skill problem. That is a mindset problem, because you can accomplish anything. Anyone in this room, you can do anything you want. You could have all the Porsches, you can have this building, you can have anything you want if you set your mind to it. If you've got a worthy idea and you work toward it every day, inch by inch, and you will get crushed, and you will get kicked in the balls. For all you men, women, I don't know what you would say, but you get slapped. You're going to get kicked around. You're going to fail. And every time you fail, you'll learn something that will catapult you to the next level, unless you quit. If you quit, it's over. Then you work for somebody else, you go 9 to 5, you bitch and moan as to how shitty life is, how bad things are, you're not making enough money. Fuck that. The money you make is because of the value you bring to the hour. Don't ever forget that. It is not what someone pays you per hour. It's what you bring to that hour. That is the most important thing. And here's the second most important thing. I don't care if it's on Private Money Club, at these RIAs, anywhere else. I don't care if you like me, hate me, want to spit in my face. Good. Everything in life is about what you put out to somebody else. Everything in life is about what you give to somebody else. I'm not paying Jim. Jim didn't come here to get money. Jim would have loved to stay home. Hannity's probably on. Is it about that time? About that time, right? He didn't get paid to be here. He's giving. A mentor of mine, who I paid way too much money, just like Jim said, you pay a lot of money, said the most important words to me. Let me ask you all what you would think about this. You go to an event, you spend $5,000 to go to somebody's house. You're like nobody at the event. You got the person who created Pictionary. You got the person who created Uggs boots. You got the person who created, he used to be with us, but Make-A-Wish. You got these greats, and you're just this person there. That was me. I was that person. And all of a sudden, you find the guy putting the event on. His name was Greg. You go up to him and you say, hey, Greg, I need the best advice you can give me. Greg puts his hand on your shoulder and leans into you, and you're like, yes. And he says, I'm going to give you the best advice I can give anyone. You're like, yes, $5,000 is going to pay off. And then he says to you, give your best stuff away for free. What are you all thinking at that point? You paid $5,000, you traveled to California, which is across the frickin' country for us, and that's what the guy who put the event on said to you. Give your best stuff away for free. Well, I'll tell you what I said. I'm like, you son of a bitch. I didn't tell him that. That's what I was thinking. I just paid $5,000. I traveled all the way out here. I'm staying in a shitty hotel because I can't afford the nice one that you recommended. And that's the best advice you got for me? Dominic's laughing because he's like, yeah, that's the best advice you could ever get. Give your best stuff away for free, because what you put out there, the universe will give back to you. You're all here for a reason. I don't know what your reason is. I don't care what your reason is. Do something with it. Don't be a slump. Go out there and do something. Make something of your life and make something meaningful for your family. And all you got to do that is have a worthy idea, talk to the right people, ignore the people that suck you down, ignore the people that tell you can't do it, ignore the people that are trying to pull you back and get you to conform to their failed fucking dream. Your dream is your dream and your dream alone, nobody else's. Jim did exactly that. Your speaker tonight did exactly that. Had a dream, said, fuck everybody else, I'm chasing my dream. Look at the dude now. He's driving a Corvette, he's got a Hummer, he's got all sorts of shit. A house in Spalding Lake that hopefully you can get that thing over the finish line. Maybe that was kick in the nuts. Every single one of you in this room can do exactly what Jim did. If all you ever do is what I've done, you've failed yourself. Strive to do better. Take somebody, that's the high mark. Like, look at somebody like Jim, myself, anybody else in this room and say, I want to do what they do, but then do more. Because you can. Because you can. Thank you all for being here. Network, grab some beers, do whatever you want. Get on Private Money Club. Thank you so much.